6 days from what is traditionally WCW's biggest event of the year at the Starrcade pay-per-view, where everything was targeted towards since the start of the Russo-Ferrari run to pay off the last 3 months of storylines and shoot a major angle that will carry on to 2000. Reports came out on Russo's growing dispute with the old regime, including Sullivan and Dillon, who were criticizing his work to Turner's WCW supervisor Bill Bush, with Sullivan angling for a return to his old role as the main TV writer, with Russo's workload growing during the week, being in charge of the first revamped Thunder show after hyping all the top names to appear, with Thunder as a result drawing its highest rating in over a month with a 2.3 rating, headlined by Goldberg and Bret winning the tag belts, with them going face-to-face in a segment for the first time to hype up their Starrcade main event on Sunday, interrupted by the Outsiders to challenge them to a tag titles match tonight, with Bret quickly agreeing on their behalf to continue to plant the seeds for the swerve to come. With Eric Bischoff keeping low profile since being removed from his position as WCW president in September, Eric reacted publicly for the first time regarding the WWF sponsor issues over the past month, which he constantly predicted over a year ago when the WWF started to turn up the edgy creative volume to the max in the fourth quarter of '98 to all-time record business, saying that he knew it's only a matter of time and the backlash could have repercussions not only for the WWF but for the entire industry when negotiating new TV contracts with the networks. At the same time, Ted Turner made a rare public appearance for a live TV interview on Larry King, commenting on the wrestling industry when questioned about the edgy material, saying that the caller is confusing the WWF with WCW, as that's what Vince used to get back in the game after being dominated for 2 years. After starting the show in a backstage brawl, Chris Benoit and Jeff Jarrett came out an hour later to open the first head-to-head quarter, with Jarrett challenging Benoit to a bunkhouse brawl as a preview to his Starrcade match with Dustin Rhodes, going 7 minutes with Jarrett going over after Rhodes accidentally cost Benoit the match, opening Nitro with a 2.6 rating. A day after one of the biggest swerves of the year at the Armageddon pay-per-view that saw Stephanie turning heel on Vince to join Triple H in the lead-up to a major change in direction with Vince set for his final TV appearance for the foreseeable future, Raw opened with Hunter and Stephanie arriving to the building along with Shane waiting for Vince outside in the parking lot, hyping Vince's response with Shane looking to calm him down before he gets to Triple H in the building, with Raw starting with a Chris Jericho vs X-Pac IC title match to kick off Raw with a 5.6 rating. Nitro's second quarter saw a unique matchup of feud reputations, with Meng against Tank Abbott ending with an out-of-control brawl that continued all over the building for the next hour, followed by the start of a Revolution vs Harlem Heat tag match, while Raw started to climb, jumping to a 5.8 rating, having a comedic Henry and Mae Young skit along with a Godfather vs Henry match going 2 minutes, followed by Vince McMahon's limousine arriving to the building, going straight to DX's locker room with a sledgehammer with Shane unable to stop him, until getting to the ring to call out Hunter, with Stephanie coming out instead for her first heel promo. After going through a series of doctor evaluations over the past month, Steve Austin's neck injury was officially set for January 27, with Austin's injury and upcoming surgery covered in a USA Today article during the week, including comments from his doctor explaining the severity of the damage done to his neck, with Austin's future in-ring career set to be revealed after 3 months of recovery in April 2000 to start the build for his eventual return. Stephanie told Vince that from now on she's gonna do things her way and learned from Vince how to make things personal, bringing up Vince getting her kidnapped by Undertaker to get to Austin, ending up with Triple H coming out and Vince driving out of the building, writing Vince off TV storylines along with Shane for the next few months, with Stephanie and Hunter taking over, as immediately after one of the most hyped segments of the night, when there's usually downtime for the next few minutes, the building exploded with Rock coming out unannounced to a massive ovation from the near hometown crowd at the Ice Palace in Tampa, Florida, cutting a promo with participation from Tampa Bay baseball player Wade Boggs on his upcoming opponents, with the loaded quarter which included the McMahon's confrontation and the Rock promo, jumping over 900,000 viewers from a 5.8 to a 6.5 rating. With Raw having the McMahons in the ring followed by Rock coming out back-to-back, Nitro stayed steady with a 2.2 rating for a Seed vs Steve Williams match that saw Seed going over, followed by the Outsiders taking him out while sending a message to Hart and Goldberg coming next. Rock met the Dudleys for the first time to lead to one of the memorable "It Doesn't Matter" catchphrases in history while mocking Bubba's stuttering gimmick, as Raw continued with the unusual formatting on the night, loading up the first hour with what would usually be placed in the main event quarter, with the first Rock and Mankind vs Dudleys tag match, not only being placed unusually early to close out the first hour from 9:45 to 10 p.m., but also on a rare occasion going through a commercial break, including the match being restarted twice by Triple H and Stephanie to add stipulations in the build to the finish, going 15 minutes in total, with the Dudleys eventually getting heat on Foley to build to a Rock hot tag to a huge reaction, setting up the finish with Rock pinning Bubba, with the match gaining further from the big jump of the previous quarter to peak the night with a 6.6 rating. After the last half hour, where Raw shot up with 2 loaded quarters that saw Nitro drop to a shallow 2.2 rating, WCW rebounded over 700,000 viewers at the top of the hour to a quarter-high 2.7 rating with a Sting and Page against Luger and Flair tag match, going 3 minutes with all 4 participants turning on each other throughout the match, to end with David Flair hitting Luger with a crowbar for Sting to go over, followed by the first half of Bigelow vs Canyon and a new character coming back from Hollywood, with the shooting of the Ready to Rumble movie set to be released in the next few months, while at the same time Raw opened its second hour with X-Pac and Hunter having a plan that turned out to be Tori vs Kitty in a pudding match, ending with interferences from Kane and the Outlaws, with Raw staying strong with a 6.4 rating. With the WWF and WCW going head-to-head in every aspect of business for the past 4 years, another new avenue saw each company releasing entrance songs CDs, with the WWF continuing to dominate, selling over 215,000 units in its first week compared to WCW's Mayhem CD that sold 49,000 in its opening. Both shows dropped between 10:15 to 10:30 after the top of the hour bump, with Nitro having Vito and Johnny Angle with Disco and LaRue in a match going 5 minutes, while Raw saw 2 matches in a quarter, first with the Acolytes against the Posse and then an Edge and Christian vs. Hardy's cage match also going 5, setting a 6 to 2.4 rating margin. Next on Nitro was the continuation of the Russo regime versus the old-school WCW veterans angle, with Russo firing Paul Orndorff from his role as a trainer in the WCW power plant before booking him in a handicap match against Creative Control, leading to Larry Zbyszko and Arn Anderson coming out for the save, with Orndorff going over, continuing the build to the eventual returns of Hogan and Flair to take on the new regime at the start of next year. While going against it, Raw also had a handicap match with Kane vs. New Age Outlaws going 3 minutes in a quarter that saw no viewership movements on both sides. Nitro loaded up the final quarter to bump the show back into a joint show high 2.7 rating, starting with a Roddy Piper vs. Curt Hennig match that saw Piper fighting off Hennig with a chair shot outside the ring, followed by an injury angle just before the main event with Bret Hart being attacked backstage to lead to Goldberg coming out to defend the tag belts against the Outsiders in a handicap match, giving another hint for what's to come in 6 days with the Goldberg vs. Hart pay-per-view main event at Starrcade, as the Hall and Nash vs. Goldberg handicap match went 6 minutes, crossing into the overrun. Big Show opened Raw's final quarter for a WWF title handicap match against Bossman and Albert going 2 minutes, with Raw playing off a unique situation of Hunter and Stephanie taking over the show while the broadcast was already going on. Didn't have a main event match or segment announced with 10 minutes left on the show, eventually setting up an impromptu main event with the Outlaws against Test and Hunter for the tag belts on short notice coming up next. On a night where WCW stayed in the 2 rating range for the entire 2 hours and dropped to the lowest overall number in the new creative regime, Nitro's Goldberg and Hart vs. Hall and Nash main event showed the biggest swing and viewership bump on the night, gaining over 800,000 viewers to a peak 3.3 rating to end with the Outsiders winning back the titles, while Raw's main event head-to-head dropped to a 5.8 overrun, ending with a swerve of Triple H turning on Test to close the show that saw Raw on the back of a strong 30 minutes in the first hour, jumping back into the 6 rating range with a 6.1 overall.